Welcome to another episode of TalkYOSpitTV. I'm your host Mario Harris, man, and today's episode is about week 3 of college football. Got just a few games just to talk about that happened in college football this past weekend. I hope to have this up by Saturday before week 4 start. If I don't, then I'm sorry. Well, I should have it up at least by Saturday for sure. I just been doing a whole bunch of other things, researching a whole bunch of other things. I watch a lot of different things on YouTube, different little podcasts and things like that. I'm not gonna shout nobody out because I'm not here to give nobody no free free publicity or anything like that. So that is what it is on that. But I hopefully still hope to have this video up by Saturday, week 4. Week 3 was really entertaining actually. It had some good games on there. Some very some it was some blowout games, some a couple upset games too. But week 3 it was for the most part it was very good. So let's go ahead and start off. We're going at Florida at LSU. Man, Florida they come in to Baton Rouge looking to get a win after last week they lost an upset game to USF, University of South Florida. However, LSU looks to defend the home field as they look to start the season 3-0. So LSU has the ball first, and they go a quick 3-and-out. Florida takes over, and on first down, quarterback DJ Lagway passes complete to Varnell Brown for a 9-yard reception. Then a couple plays later, Lagway he throws a short pass to Brown again for 6 yards. However, a penalty on the play. LSU star linebacker Whit Weeks he is called for targeting with a helmet to helmet hit, and he was ejected for the game. Man, that's very unfortunate. That penalty was for 15 yards. However, Florida does not make anything happen, and they will have to settle for a 45-yard field goal. Score is 3-0. Next possession for LSU, Gator defense come up big again and makes LSU punt after another 3-and-out. Florida now has the ball back, and they are moving the chain as they set up for another first down. Lagway short pass to Jadon Ball that turns into a 17-yard reception and another first down. A few plays later, and it is third and 10 for the Gators. Lagway makes a pass down the field, but it is intercepted by safety Deshaun Spears. Second and 10 for LSU. Quarterback Gary Nussmeier connects with Baron Brown for an 18-yard reception. A couple penalties set back LSU, and they have to settle for a field goal to tie the game up at 3 apiece. We move on to the second quarter. The score is still 3-3. Third and 8 for the Tigers, and Nussmeier throws a pass to a wide open Aaron Anderson for a 23-yard reception. A few plays later, Nussmeier finds Xavier Thomas in the end zone for a 23-yard touchdown pass. As LSU, they take the lead 10-3. Florida takes possession and Lagway escapes out the pocket to make a throw to J. Michael Sturdivant. A few plays later, after Florida connects on some big passes and runs, it is 3rd and 5, and Lagway throws it over the middle to Aiden Mizell for a 9-yard first down. After a run and incompletion, it is 3rd and 9, and Lagway, he connects to Mizell again, but this time it's for a 10-yard touchdown pass. The game is now tied at 10. Late second quarter, and Florida has the ball back. On second down, Lagway connects with Brown for a 15-yard reception. Then Florida is moving the ball, but now it's 3rd and 7. Lagway tries to throw over the middle. However, safety A.J. Halsey gets the pick as Lagway throws his second interception of the game. This sets up a great scoring position for LSU with about 24 seconds left to go in the first half as LSU ends the half with a 45-yard field goal, take the lead 13-10. We are midway in the third, and Florida has the ball again on third down, and Lagway is again intercepted by Spears. This time he makes it a pick six and goes for 58 yards as LSU extends the lead 20-10. Fourth quarter has started, and the game is still 20-10, and LSU Nussmeiser, he looks to extend that score as he throws across the middle to Bauer Sharp that turns into a 65-yard reception. LSU fumbles but recovers. However, they lose significant yards, and it is now 3rd and 27. And on third down, Nussmeier evades the sack, but then throws an interception for their first turnover of the game, and just under 11 minutes left in the game. Florida takes the ball and now have a chance to cut in the lead. It is 4th and 2, and Florida, they have to go for it to keep the game alive. And Lagway throws short to ball for a first down. A few plays later, it's 3rd and 9. Lagway throws a deep pass towards the end zone in triple coverage, and once again, the ball is picked off for the fourth interception thrown today. LSU punts, and as now they just have to continue to play good defense to keep the Gators from scoring. Florida has the ball, 4:20 left to go in the game, 2nd down, and Lagway completed a pass to Brown for a 16-yard reception. Florida moving the chain, but time is running out as it is little over 2 minutes left to go in the game. Lagway, he tried to escape the sack and throws it across the field and is picked off for the 5th time, and that would be the end of the game. LSU Tigers, they win at home against their SEC opponent, Florida Gators, 20-10. LSU lost their star linebacker Whit Weeks early in the first quarter, and it did not matter that much. It didn't hurt them really at all, as they were able to still come away with 5 interceptions. They also held Florida to 79 rushing yards, and the Gators averaged 137 rushing yards per game. Although offensively, LSU was also a little up and down throughout the whole game, and they made big plays when they needed to. But ultimately, it was the defense effort for the Tigers, and they got them the win. They had 5 tackles for loss with 3 sacks. Florida first half was solid. Besides the 2 interceptions from Lagway, the defense held up as they kept the game close, but it was just not for, if it wasn't for the late first half interception that set the field goal for the Tigers, they could have looked to gain the lead going into halftime. Now, both teams, they did have a problem with penalties. However, late in the game, Florida late in the game, they had a penalty that they actually scored on. So that hurt them big time as they had to bring that ball right back. The Gators missed out on many opportunities. DJ Lagway, he made horrible decisions with his passing. And the run game, they were just non-existent. LSU defense really seemed top tier at the moment. They seem very confident, and they seem very consistent too as they continue with conference play. Next week they have to play Ole Miss. No, sorry, they have to play Ole Miss in 2 weeks. But offensively, they could be a little bit more consistent, man. Florida, on the other hand, they have to improve. The O-line must be a lot better. It must help DJ Lagway out so he can sit in the pocket. Lagway just need to improve on the decision making, like I just said. Run out the pocket trying to evade the sack. He just need to improve on that. It is not his strong suit at the moment. I think Florida at this game, they definitely should have relied more on their running attack. LSU defense is very great with their run defense for sure. However, especially after the second or third interception, I think you should lean more on the running attack for the Gators. However, the Gators, they just seem very one-dimensional. They might average 130, I think 137 rushing yards per game, I said. But that's against 2 other lesser teams that they have already played. So they must get a better run game incorporated into their offense that will help Lagway out definitely big time. Florida's next few games, man, it just don't get any easier for them. They play at Miami week 4. They play Texas they play Texas week 5. That's a home game for them. And then they play at Texas A&M week 6. So their next 3 games, SEC opponents, will be tough for the Florida Gators. Speaking of Texas A&M, the next game I got is number 16 Texas A&M. They play at number 8 Notre Dame. This was a very, very exciting game, man. Texas A&M coming into this game, they look to start the season with a 3-0 record before they actually start the SEC conference play. Notre Dame, they want to bounce back from their week 1 loss against Miami. As both teams, they come into this game with something to prove. They both have a chip on their shoulder. This past Saturday was filled with so many wild games, and this was definitely one of them. First quarter action, and the Aggies, they are ready to punt, but Notre Dame special team blocks it and returns it for a touchdown. That's how you start the game off. Notre Dame 7-0. 2nd and 6, quarterback Marcel Reed, short pass to Mario Craver as he takes it for 86 yards. On the way, he breaks 2 tackles with a spin and outruns a 3rd defender as he goes straight to the house and for a touchdown. The score now is tied at 7. Notre Dame has the ball, and they run the trick play, flea flicker, and quarterback C.J. Carr connects with Eli Raridan for a 43-yard reception. It's second and goal now, and running back Jadarian Price, he takes the handoff and runs it for a 7-yard touchdown. 14-7 Notre Dame. The Aggies have the ball and go another 2 plays, but this time it is intercepted by cornerback Leonard Moore. Second quarter starts, and both teams did not let up. Notre Dame, they scored first at the second half after not converting at the goal line. They kick a field goal to bring the score to 17-7. Aggies take over, and Reed throws a deep ball to KC Concepcion for a 45-yard reception. Then Le'Veon Moss runs it in for a 1-yard touchdown to bring the lead to 17-14 Notre Dame. Next possession for Notre Dame, another touchdown for Carr. He throws it this time to Jeremiah Love, who has a one-hand catch the ball and runs it in for the score now to bring the Fighting Irish up 10. It's 24-14. Aggies have the ball, and on 3rd and 8, Reed connects with Craver for a 21-yard reception. Then Reed on the play action pass to Ruben Owens for a 24-yard reception. That sets up a 2-yard touchdown run for Moss, his second touchdown of the game, and the score now is 24-21 Notre Dame. On first down, Carr tries to extend the Notre Dame lead, but throws the ball a tad bit too high over the receiver's head, and the ball is picked off. It's 1st and 10 for the Aggies, and Reed, he throws it again to Craven, who has already had a big game, as he has a 31-yard reception. Second and goal, Reed keeps it himself on the option and gets popped right at the goal line. Therefore, the Aggies must resort in their running back Moss, who gets a 3rd touchdown of the game and put the Aggies up 28-24. We move on to the 3rd quarter, and Notre Dame has the ball, 2nd and 9, and Price, he gets the handoff again and breaks one tackle and runs it in for a 17-yard touchdown as Notre Dame regains the lead 31-28. The Aggies kick a field goal to tie the game at 31 going into the 4th. To start the 4th quarter, both teams kick a field goal, and this brings the score to 34 apiece. Notre Dame, they have the ball now at 3rd and 7. Carr finds Malachi Fields for a 20-yard reception. A few run plays and a short passing play sets up 1st and 10 for Notre Dame as Jeremiah Love runs for a 12-yard touchdown. But Notre Dame, they botch the snap on the extra point and have to go for it on 2, but they do not convert, so that brings the score 40-34 Notre Dame. Next possession for the Aggies, they have just under 3 minutes to go in the game, and Reed finds no other than Mario Craver for a 34-yard completion. A few plays go by, and Aggies are moving the chain, and a defensive holding put the Aggies in the red zone, and they have to score. Notre Dame plays great goal line defense as they have the Aggies right where they want them. It is 4th and goal and on the 11-yard line. However, Reed finds Nate Borkacher for the pass and the game-winning touchdown as Texas A&M steals a road victory from Notre Dame. This game, man, like I said, was one of those high-drama games that was obvious neither team was going to let up. Aggies quarterback Marcel Reed was stellar as he threw for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns. They also trailed more than they had the lead, but never folded under pressure as they kept fighting. However, the offense kept Notre Dame guessing as they had 128 rushing yards. 81 of those came from Moss, who also had 3 touchdowns. But star wide receiver Mario Craver showed he cannot be stopped as he had 7 receptions for 207 yards and 1 touchdown. Also, the defense came up with the interception that turned into a touchdown. They also forced a fumble. They also committed 13 penalties for 86 yards, and they gave up 40 points. Now, that is something they're going to want to tighten up as the season go on, especially since they're about to start SEC play next week against Auburn in week 4. Now, what went well for Notre Dame, it was their run game. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, they combined for 162 yards for 41 carries with 3 touchdowns. The run game helped them out and helped them allow to be a balanced offense. Quarterback C.J. Carr, he threw for 293 yards, going 20 for 32 with one touchdown and with one pick. Now, early in the game, a special team, they blocked a punt that they ended up scoring on that gave them early momentum, and they had the lead most of the game. However, special team also cost them the game as they messed up a snap, and that was the extra point and ended up losing by one. Their defense as a whole played poorly, even with their one interception. They had no sacks and only 2 yards for loss. And secondary gave up plenty of big yards that allowed the Aggies to be in scoring range consistently. Now they only had 5 penalties all game. The Aggies they had 13, and they usually would be enough to win the ball game. However, a late game defensive holding penalty costed them 10 yards and set the Aggies up for the win. Offensively, they did good, but defensively, they have a lot to clean up if they want to make it back to the championship game that they was in last year. Notre Dame dropped to 24 in the ranking and will look to get their first win of the season at home versus Purdue. Now, this next game, man, this was probably the game up to week 3. This is probably the game of the year. Number 6 Georgia at number 15 Tennessee. Man, this was another wild game that we had from this past Saturday. UT they look to start the season off 3-0 after dominating their first 2 games of the season, and they look to finally beat UGA after an 8-year drought. UGA wants to prove that they're an elite football team with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback and prove the critics wrong. The SEC rivalry game did not disappoint. UT starts the game off with the ball. Quarterback Joey Aguilar on second down connects with Chris Brezel for a 17-yard. Then Aguilar to Braylon Staley for a 15-yard pass as UT is at the goal line position. The very next play, Aguilar keeps it himself and runs it in for a 4-yard touchdown. Now UGA, they got the ball, and Gunner, he throws down the field to Kobe Young for a 45-yard reception. After a run plays and another big passing play, UGA has it at first and goal on the 6. This time, Gunner, he keeps it himself, and he shows he can also run it in for a touchdown as the game now is tied at 7. UT, they're not phased at all. As they go 2 plays, 76 yards, Aguilar finds Brazel again, this time for a 72-yard catch that he then runs it in for a touchdown. The score is 14-7 ball. UGA, they turn over and down, and UT, they have the ball back. Aguilar short pass to Mike Matthews, who breaks a tackle and gets 15 yards of reception. Then Aguilar again connects with Matthews, this time for 21 yards. UT has it first and 10 and on the 14, and Aguilar finds Brazel for a 14-yard touchdown pass. As Joey Aguilar is picking the UGA defense apart, he is now 14 for 14 and over 200 yards at this point. Right before the first quarter end, UT defense has a chance to stop UGA on 4th and 3, but Gunnar Stockton finds Zachariah Branch on a slant route for the first down. 3rd and 7, UGA has the ball and runs the screen route for Branch, and he takes it to a 36-yard for the touchdown. The score now is 21-14. UGA has the ball 1st and 10. Gunner short pass to Oscar Depp, who makes it a 18-yard reception. UT defense come up big as they get a sack on 2nd and goal for a loss of 4 yards. Georgia has to settle for a field goal. UT is still up 21-17. Vols have the ball back and look to extend that lead. However, Aguilar makes a rare mistake and throws a pick. He underthrows the deep ball and double coverage. UGA gets the ball back, and UT defense, they want to try to help offense out and give them the ball as they come up with their own pick by defensive back Ty Redmond as Gunner. He just threw an interception a few plays, but it got called back because of defensive holding. But this time, there's no penalty as UT come up with their own pick. However, that pick was right before halftime, and the Vols, they are leading at the half. The score is 21-17. Georgia has the ball to start the half, and they are using the run game to their advantage. Running back Nate Frazier, 9-yard on the run. Then Gunnar Stockton does a quarterback run for 14 yards on 3rd and 4. That makes it a first down. Then UT, they stop the run on 2nd down, but then Chauncey Bowen runs a 13-yard for a 3rd and 4 that gives it a first down. A few more running plays, and UGA is at 3rd and goal, and Josh McCrary takes a handoff that muscles it in for a 1-yard touchdown that gives Georgia the lead 24-21. UT has the ball after both teams having to punt, and now it's 3rd and 7. Aguilar horribly misses the receiver and throws his second pick of the game. However, UT defense does hold off Georgia as they only allow a field goal to keep it a one-score game. UT has possession, and Aguilar looks to make up for his last interception as he play action pass to Brazil, who makes it a spectacular jump ball catch for the 56-yard touchdown as the Vol takes the lead 28-27. We are in the fourth quarter, and this game is nowhere near over as UGA makes some big passing plays by Gunnar Stockton. However, in that red zone, the Vols once again stop UGA from a touchdown as they settle for another field goal, but regain the lead. The score is 30-28. UT with the ball now is 2nd and 9, and Aguilar finds Brazil again for a 15-yard reception. No huddle offense. Star Thomas takes the handoff and runs for 27 yards to get the first down. Then Aguilar, he finished the play off with a pass to wide open Staley for a 32-yard touchdown. UT takes the lead back 35-30. UGA has the ball, and once again, the defense stepping up in big moments. Defensive lineman Joshua Joseph gets a sack that forced the ball out, and UT recovered. The Vols now have possession and end up kicking a field goal to make the score 38-30. Now, at this point, you expect the defense from the Vols to play good enough defense on just one more Georgia possession. However, that is not the case, as Stockton makes a pass to White for a 17-yard reception. Then on 3rd and 7, Stockton completes another pass. This time it's to Dylan Ball for a 10-yard reception. Then Stockton makes a great pass right over the receiver's shoulder that only he can catch for a touchdown. Then going for 2, Stockton passed a wide open branch as the game now is tied at 38. UT has one more chance to put this game away as they are moving the chains. Aguilar 12-yard reception to Staley. Then Star Thomas on 1st down and runs it twice to get the first down. As UT is now in field goal range, and kicker Max Gilbert is up for a 43-yard kick. However, he misses it wide right as the game goes into overtime. Now in overtime, Gilbert, he has another chance to give the Vols a lead, this time for 42 yards, and he makes the kick. UT is up 3. Georgia takes possession, and they did something UT could barely stop all game, and that was their run and attack. Frazier 21-yard run that sets up a 1st and goal. Then Josh McCray, he seals the game as he stretches across the goal line to get the score, and UGA wins a thriller 44-41. UT, they played a great game despite 2 bad interceptions from Aguilar. He still threw for 371 yards with 4 touchdowns. They also racked up 125 rushing yards between 4 carriers, but only 1 touchdown. Chris Brazil, he was catching everything as he had 6 receptions for 177 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then Braylon Staley, 9 receptions for 97 yards and a touchdown. UT started the game off massive, man. But however, one of my favorite sports quotes of all time, I'm going to say it once and I say it again. Games are won and lost in the second half. UT, they led at the end of the first. They led at the end of the second, and they led at the end of the third. But when it comes to end of the game, you got to find a way to win, especially when you up most of the game. How the defense, they played great for the most part, but seemingly at the end of the game, at the end of the fourth quarter, and in the overtime, they just seemed like they just ran out of gas, man. They also could not stop the run at UGA. They mixed up between 7 different ball carriers to get their offense moving. Lastly, that missed late field goal took the confidence out of it. I'm just watching the game. It just seemed like that field goal just took everything out. It took everything out the crowd for sure, but it just seemed like it took everything out of UT missing that 45 kick, because Gilbert know he can make that kick. Like I said, he basically made the same kick in overtime, so he know he could have made that kick. I think they knew he was. I think they, like I said, I think they knew he was going to make it, and that's why the confidence just shot all the way down. The momentum went all the way down once he missed that. This was a tough loss for UT Vols, man. It makes it 9 years in a row to losing to Georgia, and this was the game that they thought they had it. They just knew it had. I low key thought they had it too. All my Tennessee fans thought they had it too, man. But it just didn't end like that. However, Tennessee does. They still remain at number 15 in the ranking, and they will play another home game next week against UAB, UGA. They showed a full team effort, a team effort of resilience, man. Getting down big early, they did not quit. In fact, almost every time UT scored, coming after what was it 21-7. After that time, after every time UT scored, Georgia, they at least had a field goal after that. So they scored also too. They made plays when it counted that allowed them to stay in the game and not to get too far behind late in the game. Gunnar Stockton, he showed he can play in big games, especially on the road, and get the win. He threw 23 for 31, 304 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had a sack fumble midway in the fourth, but he didn't allow that to hunt him as he came right back the next possession and threw a great touchdown pass. But the biggest thing for UGA was their run game this game. In total, they rushed for 198 yards between 7 players, including Stockton, and he also had 3 touchdowns, one of which was the game-winning touchdown. UGA, they move up to number 5 in the rankings and will face another SEC rival this weekend against Alabama, who they look to stay hot against. Now, those 3 games were the biggest games that I had this past Saturday. Ohio State, they beat Ohio. That they killed Ohio 37-9. Penn State killed Villanova 52-6. Oregon, they beat Northwestern 34-14. Miami beat South Florida 49-12. I know Miami was hype on that after Florida just lost to them. I know Miami was hype, big hype on that game. I didn't really watch it, but I know that I'm sure they were hype on that one. I should talk about Vanderbilt. I told y'all Vanderbilt was going to beat South Carolina. Go back and watch that. I told y'all Vanderbilt was going to beat South Carolina, and they did. They killed them 31-7. I really don't need to talk about that too much, but they what I just tell you, like the Vanderbilt, they basically got the same team. They just look good. They their quarterback, he threw for 18 for 25, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Man, he went crazy for them folk, man. Went crazy. I tried to tell y'all. I tried to tell y'all, man. Georgia Tech beat Clemson. That was an upset game too, 24-21. I don't know. Georgia Tech might be a sleeper in the ACC this season, man. I haven't looked into that. That's the reason why I didn't talk about them. But I'm going to look into Georgia Tech and see what they're doing. They 3-0 now to start the season. I'm gonna have to look into Georgia Tech on that, man. That it might be a sleeper in the ACC beating Clemson. It was a home game for Georgia Tech, but hey, they got the dub, man. That's all that matters, man. So we'll see what the game's looking like for week 4 to see who I'm going to talk about, who we're gonna bring in, man. I know it's a lot of conference play that comes in week 4, so we're gonna see Auburn and Oklahoma play each other at Oklahoma. That's gonna be a good game right there. Michigan and Nebraska play each other. That's gonna be a great game too. That's at Nebraska at that. Michigan might lose that one. We're gonna see. We're gonna see on that one. That's gonna be a good game, man. Missouri, South Carolina at Missouri. That's gonna be a good game. Florida plays at Miami. I'm willing to bet Miami kills them folks. I'm not gonna bet on Florida on that one. I'm sorry, my Gator fans. Shout out to my boy Jagger. He's a huge Gator fan. Illinois play Indiana. That's gonna be another great game. So there's a lot of great games that come on week 4 this weekend, man. So y'all look forward to this next episode for week 4 of college football. Until then, this is Talk Your Spit TV. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad, y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Thank y'all to all my supporters who have been supporting me. Please like, share, comment the videos, man. We can talk college football all day. I'm getting bigger and bigger into college football. I love the hype of college. I always love the hype of college football, always. But now I don't like too much of the transfer, and I'm gonna talk about more about that when college basketball starts. However, with the transfers, it makes a lot of these teams a lot better. I will say that, and it gives a different edge to the games and whatnot. So, man, please comment on this, man. Let's talk about it. If I missed anything, let's talk about it, man. But until then, this is Talk Your Spit TV. I'm Mario Harris. Thank you.